And welcome to my channel. I'm Mr. Tie-Dye, and today I'm answering a question on the black flame rainbow. Somebody wanted to know how to incorporate long sleeves into the design. So as I was answering the question for them, it was complicated to try to write out the answer with all of the things that came to my mind. So I was kind of inspired to create a video. So that's what we're doing here. In the meantime, I had thought about a couple more ways of folding it, and really it's just kind of a random. We're using fabric and folding it like origami, so there's no right and wrong to it, just play with it. So here are the ideas that I came up with. So we'll start with the black flame rainbow. I like to fold mine diagonally. So what I do is I grab the corner and the shoulder and fold it up. So that gives us an edge where we're going to discharge color and then add color in here. Well, I folded mine diagonally. You don't have to fold it diagonally. You can fold it straight in half. But when you do fold it diagonally, I guess that's what I was getting to, is the sleeves stick off in weird places. So here's one sleeve and here's the other sleeve. Now when they're long, they're going to stick out. So what I got to do is incorporate them in. So that's what we're going to do with this video. I'm going to lay this shirt out, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab the bottom corner, I'm going to grab the upper corner, fold this in half, lay that down. So that's the edge that I'm going to discharge. So now I have my sleeves sticking out here. So if you want to incorporate them in, here are just a few of the ways that I've come up with, but you can fold them any way that you want. The main thing is just getting the sleeve onto that edge there. So I'm just going to take this top sleeve. It just, let's see if you can see that top corner. There is where the sleeve connects to the body of the shirt right there. That's the corner, the shoulder, where I picked it up to fold it. So I'm just going to fold that edge of the sleeve right along here, just right down that edge. So that works for one sleeve, but the other sleeve is sticking down here way out of the way. So really what I'm going to do is I want to discharge maybe about this much here, so I'm not worried about all this. So I can kind of fold this up out of my way a little bit, however you want, just to give me better access to this sleeve. Now this one, like I say, I went right from the shoulder, so it's going to get along the whole sleeve. So if I want the other one to get the whole sleeve, I need to kind of adjust the t-shirt here and fold that in just so that I get that sleeve lined up along this straight edge. Now that lays up more layers of fabric there. The main thing that I want is just that they are even and flat right along this front line here. And then I'm going to pleat along this. I'm just going to do a tall, loose pleat because I want the out white bright to be able to get down into the creases. So this is the first way that I would incorporate the sleeves, where basically the sleeve is going to come down here and you're going to have the colors coming down both sides of the sleeves. So now I'm just going to do kind of a tall pleat on this. And main thing is I'm just trying to keep this edge nice and straight and flat here. So let's see. Not that it matters how tall, you can just kind of figure out how tall you want it yourself. But this here is about 1 3/4 inches tall here, is what I have. But I didn't plan it that way. That's just how much I grabbed. I just wanted a decent amount because really I'm just looking at this edge here and I want to make sure that I get a nice discharge on there. And if it's too skinny, then when I put my out white bright on here, it falls off. This way I can pile a bigger portion on and pour the water on. Now you can tie this up any way that you like. I like to use kite string. You can use rubber bands. If you use sinew, then that's going to create a black line wherever you tie it, and the black flame will probably go down and possibly jump over it just on the outside, but I don't think it will soak through the sinew in there. But that's something else that you can try if you like. Like I said, I love this art because there's so many ways to experiment and explore with it. And I just try to explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, or if it's just an experiment. And sometimes that's the most fun, is just to experiment and see what you get. So I'm just going to give this a nice loose tie here just to hold everything together. Here's the first long sleeve, and like I say, the sleeves are incorporated into this top fold here, and that's the main thing you want to do. So we're going to set that one aside. Let's pull out another t-shirt here. And oh, and these t-shirts have been pre-washed, spun out, so they're just barely damp right now. Okay, so I'm going to do the same initial fold. I'm going to grab up at the top, down at the bottom, fold this in half diagonally, lay that back down, and now this time I don't want to incorporate the whole sleeve. I want to get just the cuff. So what I'm going to do is just lay that cuff right in there. So you can kind of gather this up. Just remember, you know, you're going to have the out white bright soaked down into the tee. So I'm trying to get this laying there so that it lines up with this front edge, and the rest of this lays flat for my pleating. And then that makes the bottom one a little easier to incorporate, because all you gotta do is just fold that hem up, that cuff up once again. And I'm also making sure that the cuff is nice and straight and flat. So here's the hem on the cuff. So I just stick my fingers in there, pull that out so that lays nice and flat along there. Do the same thing with the other one. And then just match those up nice and even with that front, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to pleat right along there and make sure that we incorporate those. And sometimes as I'm going to pleat, I might adjust this here just so that I can fit it into the pleat better. So it doesn't really matter where they're placed on here, just that they're up at this front edge. That's the main thing, and you can adjust them side to side depending on how your pleating goes. And I'll show you that here in just a minute. So let's get the pleat in this. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a nice tall pleat on here. Okay, now this here is where you can adjust your pleat. You can see where my fold came right up, and I'm going to lay this right next to the edge there, so that when I pick up this next pleat, that sleeve just folds right in there along that top line there. And I'm just going to fold that back over and fold the rest of that sleeve down. So it makes just a little bit of a wide bump in there, but like I say, you can incorporate that in. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to incorporate the other one in, and this time I can do it the other way. The pleat is standing up tall, and I'm going to line this right up here, so that is down in the bottom there, and then I'm going to fold that up. So those are two different ways. You can put it at the bottom of the pleat or the top of the pleat. Either way, you can incorporate that other sleeve in. There's another one done with the sleeves incorporated, or just like I say, the cuff of the sleeve. So basically I got kind of the same thing going on. I guess I tied just a slightly taller pleat there, but that's what we're wanting. Okay, now the last one here, or maybe second to last, maybe I can do that twice there. No, I can show it once. I've been doing these diagonally, but you can do these right up the middle. So you can fold that straight in half, just like that. And what this is going to do is put your sleeves in the exact same place. So you can line those up, get your sleeves sorted out, and lay that whole sleeve the edge, like I say, just right along this front here. So I'm just laying that edge of the sleeve, top edge, right on there. And I'm going to pick this up, flip it over, make sure my edges are lined up. This here is the center, the other sleeve, and I'm going to do the same thing with this sleeve. I'm going to line it up in the same fashion. Okay, I'm going to flip this back over so you guys can see that front edge. So I got one sleeve, the shirt, and the other sleeve here. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and just fold this right up. And like I say, you got more layers because you got the cuffs right here. So this first fold is going to be just a little bit thick. And I'm just going to do the same thing. Here's the other one. So now I got 3 different shirts here. And I don't know if we'll be able to stack these together and do them, or I might do them just one at a time, or yeah, I guess I could. Okay, so in pushing this together, I basically collapsed that, you can see, but really this kite string helped hold it together. So I'm gonna need to push this crease back down and flatten this back out. Okay, we'll stop goofing off and get back to tie-dye here. Okay, I think I got that sorted out enough. But yeah, I think I can more carefully lay these together and just do an angle. So that's what I'll do, and then I'll flip them over and do it another time. So you guys stay tuned. I'm going to get this set up on a nice slant here in a tub, get my water boiled, and then like I say, we're going to use Out White Bright for this. So stay tuned. Okay, so I just kind of did a little brace thing. I set this rack up to hold this, and then I'm just basically just leaning these in here at a nice sharp incline. Since this one here is a little bit taller, I just bent the bottom part down just to get myself a nice surface here. And now I'm going to use Out White Bright, and I have an open window here. It's best to work in good ventilation because there's fine dust, or to wear a mask. Since I'm doing a video, it's harder to wear a mask and explain what I'm doing. So I have an open window, or you work outside. This stuff can be quite smelly, but if you get a work outside, it usually is pretty good. So what I'm doing is just pouring a nice coat on here, and just pouring it up on this edge and letting it run down over the edge just a little bit. But mostly what I'm trying to do is just get it up on this top edge here. And we're going to do this way, and then I'll probably flip them around just to get the other side good also. So now I have freshly boiled water, and I like to pour mine very slowly. You also want to make sure that you don't get this steam up in your face or you splash yourself. So just use caution when working with the boiling water. And I'm just pouring, I like to pour slowly so as to not cause too big of a reaction all at once, because that can wash some of the outright bite away, and I want it to just soak right in. I'm going to use a little bit more here on the front, I see just a couple spots that didn't discharge as much as I wanted to. So I'm just kind of selectively adding a little bit more to a couple places. But you can do it however much or however little that you want. Okay, and remember this is boiling water, so you want to be careful handling it. I got myself a nice set of tongs. These were just in the kitchen department at the store. I don't know which store, but yeah, I just got them in the kitchen department. And the more precise you could be with your setup, I would probably set this up a little differently if I was doing this just for myself, but trying to show you on video, it sometimes is difficult to get things set up just in the perfect way, but you guys get the general idea of what I'm doing here, and you guys can explore with this. And I do see I already have some discharging down on this side, so we don't need to pour too much. I think we'll get a little bit more and then call this good. Okay. All right, now I'm going to let these sit. Sometimes the discharge will, the more, can't talk. Sometimes with discharging, more color will come out as it sits here for a little bit longer. Now normally I have it down in the solution, but in this one here, since I was dripping the color down through or removing it through, I don't want to try to submerge these. Well, but I want them to stay upright so that that gravity action that I have going on continues with this discharge. Anyways, I'll come back in 10 or 15 minutes and we'll continue on with the process. Okay, we're back with our teas. So I let them sit for probably 20 minutes so they're cool now, and I can open up these creases and see that I got some nice discharge going on down in there and different little flame-like fingers. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave them tied up, and I'm going to go ahead and rinse them really good. Yeah, I like the looks on all of these. Some of them have more and some have less color removed, but that's tie-dye, so we're just going to go for it. And like I say, I rinse them really good in the sink to start with. So just kind of squeezing them, you can kind of see that orange come out. That's, I think, the chemicals and the color that we just broke down, the black dye in there. That's what's coming out in that orange. So I like to give it a good squeeze, a good rinse in the sink. And then I usually will soak it. I got a pail of water here. Well, I'll show you in a minute. But I have a pail of water and I'll soak these for a while and just let more of this stuff come out. I like, if I'm going to leave it tied up, I like to get these rinsed really well. So I'm going to soak these in this tub for a while. So we'll just put those in right now. Fill that all the way up. This here just helps also conserve water if you're wanting to do that. But I soak these really good. In fact, I can tip these upside down because the part with the chemical is down inside there. So I'm just going to leave these soak for a while and come back. I'll change the water, and I'm also going to spin these out in the washing machine. And for this, it doesn't matter whether your washer sprays water or not, because in the end, they don't have to be damp until the very end when we're ready to dye them. But the spinning out just helps get some of that excess chemical and stuff out. So I will spin them, soak them again, then spin them, and they're probably good. So stay tuned, I'll be back. Okay, we're back. So I finished rinsing these. What I like to do is rinse them in the sink, and then I soak them in a tub for a while, and then I spit them out, and then I soak them some more, and then spit them out so that they're barely damp. And then at that point you can soak them in soda ash and you're ready to dye them. So I got all 3 of these here. We're going to dye them up one at a time. Each one of them, I think I have some nice flame action going on. With the bigger pleats, it just leaves a little bit of black space in there. So anyways, we're going to go through one by one and get these dyed up. I'm dyeing these with liquid dye, but you could certainly do an ice dye. On the big plan, I turned them up sideways like this here and did an ice dye on it. You could also do a hot water irrigation. You can put your dye on, spray the hot water. There are lots of different ways. I've just chosen to do a liquid dye. So I let these sit out and dry for a while. I set them on top of the heater vent just so they went from barely damp to almost dry, just to help with the saturation. So now what I'm going to do is dye them in the rainbow colors. So I'm going to go into hyperspeed, but basically I'm just going to put the dye on and let it try to roll down, but also I'm just going to squirt and color all of this stuff everywhere that I have not black. I'm going to put color. But I have this extra just because I wasn't being really careful, and I'm not worried about it. I like original things. Anyways, let's just get right into dyeing these. Okay, in opening the creases up, I can see good color. I don't think I have any white left down in there. So I think I got good saturation. So we're going to set this aside and let it batch for 48 hours. And I'll get to the next one. So stay tuned. Okay, we're ready to dye the second one here. I am doing these in order. So this is the one that I folded and put the cuffs. You can kind of see the cuffs right there. So anyways, yeah, I'm dyeing these in order. And anytime you see me go down here into the black section, all I'm doing is if I see some spots down here that have had color removed, I'm just adding color to them. I'd rather them be in the rainbow colors than tan, but I have had some of these discharges where some tan's left, and that's fine. But yeah, if you guys see me dyeing down here, I'm not dyeing the black, I'm just dyeing those spots. Another one of them done. I'm going to batch this for 48 hours, and then we're going to, well, I'm going to move on to the other one, but all of them are going to get batched for 48 hours. So let me get set up again. Okay, and here's the last one. Okay, it looks like we got good color down in there too. So the 3 of these are going to get batched, and when I'm done, then you'll see them all. Thank you for watching. Please like and share my channel wherever it's allowed. Okay, good morning and welcome to Hippie Christmas with Mr. Tie-Dye. So we're going to get into these black flame rainbows that I did on the long sleeve. So to start with, let's open this up. And this is the one that I laid the sleeves right along this edge here. So now we got the nice discharge on the sleeves there. On both of them. And then of course diagonally. So let's open this up and see what we can see here. So we got the nice discharge there, and then down both sleeves. So when you wear this, let's open that sleeve up, you're going to have that same thing down both sleeves there. Yeah, fun. We got the other one too. So anyways, I'll get this rinsed and washed, and you'll see the results in 2 seconds. Thank you. Okay, time for long sleeve number 2. And this one, if you recall, we laid the sleeves in where we just put this cuff right up to that front edge on both of these. So this here is going diagonally, and then the 2 sleeves both have just a little bit of flame on them in the different colors. So that was fun. Let's open it all the way up, see what we get here. So once again, a nice flame down the chest. And then the 2 sleeves. So there's another way to incorporate long sleeves. Back for the last one in just a second. Alright, last one. This one we folded down the center instead of diagonally. Incorporated the sleeves in there. So there's one sleeve, the center of the T, and then the other sleeve. So let's open this up. So that one's got the nice flame run right up the center, and then of course we'll have running down both sleeves a nice black flame rainbow going down the sleeves. So peace. We will get this washed and you'll see the results in about 2 seconds. Thank you. Please like and share my channel wherever it's allowed.